welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my Ford Transit Campervan build. And this episode is going to be electrical, and we're going to be installing a Victron Phoenix inverter, a 12 volt 1200 watt version. And all I'm going to be doing is installing it and wiring it up in this episode. So it's probably not going to be too long. I've been impatient, so it's actually already opened. And here it is here, quite a big unit. Now I've gone for the British 3-pin plug model. I've also bought the Victron V-Direct Bluetooth smart dongle, as a lot of the Victron kit I've got connects wirelessly, connects via Bluetooth, and they can speak to each other. This can't by default, but an extra cable you can plug into the V-Direct port, and that can also then be monitored from my phone as well. So we're going to get this installed. Just so people can get an idea of the anatomy of the inverter, you've got your main positive and your negative, you've got your remote pins, which I'm going to be using, and then you've got 3 different options: off, on and eco. And eco, I think, is a mode where it looks for something trying to use AC power and then turns on, and then also a ground, a chassis ground, which we're not going to be using in this instance. At the other end, got the British 3-pin plug. It feels like either a plastic or metal outside, and then the actual chassis is metal. So wiring wise, although this has a 200 amp internal fuse, that's non-replaceable, so I am putting an inline fuse in as well. I just put 125 amp inline fuse because that's all I've got at this moment in time. So although that is rated to 200 amp, the internal fuse, this is only 25 mil squared cable, which is only rated to 170 amp. So I'm adding my own fuse. The manual says if you add your own inline fuse if you're going more than a metre from your batteries, a metre and a half, which I'm not, but there isn't any harm in adding a fuse, so I have. Use a screwdriver and get those mounted in. That's all sorted. So let's get it actually mounted in my cupboard. So the inverter is going to go in the back wall of the cupboard. It should give it a nice gap above the top for the ventilation, and again a nice bit of gap below here for ventilation. Even more so when we've got ventilation slots built into the cupboard itself. These 2 areas. So it's got 4 mounting holes, and I've just made a little template out of paper. Cardboard, Alex. Although it's got a back on it at the minute, I know there's a structural support here and a structural support here, which line up very well with the battens. So that's the plan of what I'm going to screw into. Bigger screws, where do I put them? Screws! Wow. So, I'm just going to pre-drill the holes. Screws wise, I'm just using my Craig pocket hole screws, just because they're big and chunky, and it's got quite a weight to it. Not what I wanted. I need the impact driver. Right, I'm just going to power down the system and disconnect the main negative, and then we'll actually get the unit in. You can't see, but I've disconnected the negative from the other battery. Tell you what, this thing is heavy. Oh, that's worked pretty perfectly. start getting all the cables connected up. So it's got plenty of space to take in air from above. Probably not as much as I would have liked at the top, but it's still got all of this area here. I might put some sort of shield over this set of wires. That being said, it's still, Victron recommends 10 centimeters space. Although this does have a low voltage cutoff, what I'm going to do is I'm going to utilise the on-off pins on the bottom of the inverter. Normally you have a wire bridge between them, and if that bridge is there, the wire completes the circuit, it powers on. The other option is you can just wire the left pin to a battery positive, and if there's no battery positive, it turns off. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to wire that left pin to the output of the battery protect. So if battery protect switches off because of low voltage, then this would see there's no power on its remote pin and then turn this off as well. Potentially being that was the reason I was running low on power. Although this is connected generally directly to the batteries, it's getting its turn on signal from this, and the system voltage would be the same between them. It doesn't matter that one's further back in the system. Right, so let's put in this. And I'm just going to use that orange and blue wire which I've been using elsewhere in the system for wires which are related to remote turn off and ons. Wired up on the remote pin. Right. BE direct. Now I'm going to install in the Bluetooth dongle. Right, I'll probably just screw this. I'm just going to use a poster tab. Just it seems a bit overkill to screw something so small and light into the backboard. Right, well. I think that is everything plugged in. So I just need to neaten up the signal wire and then connect it actually up to the batteries and we can go. Right, time to get it connected up. So I want it to be on this part of the shunt. Actually, I kind of want this cable to be considerably shorter. Right, cable remade. Okay. The positive is getting connected directly to the battery. Just getting the positive connected up. Right, so I just need to connect up the main negative and then power the system back on. So it's been a few days since the last bit of footage, and it's been working fantastically as I've just been away for a week in Scotland. But I hadn't actually shown it being used. So at the minute I'm just using the switch on the bottom to power it on. Because it does use power on standby. And in doing that, it's now appeared up on the app. I can see Phoenix. I can click on the Phoenix and it can just connect to it. It just shows me it's inverting, the state of it and the system voltage, and then I can change different things that I want. The low battery shutdowns, how the eco mode works, the output hertz, So let's have a quick test. Here's an AC item I prepared earlier. So just plugged into the top. And let's have a look. Normal. AC item is a circular saw. Let's see what that also looks like in the BMV. So at the minute we're just using 1 amp. That's probably the inverter and the fridge running. So arguably it's not a very powerful circular saw. It's only about 480 watts, which is about just over a third of the capacity of this. So the way I'm actually going to be using it in the van is I'm going to be having wall sockets, but really it's going to be no dissimilar than actually just using the extension cord. Effectively all I'm going to be doing is plug into the top and using it as an extension cord. Obviously not having the white bar extension cord, but running wall-mounted sockets in the van and using it that way. And that isn't going to be, because it's not an electrical hookup, so I'm not kind of being on site and getting power to run a 240 volt AC system from a site's power. I don't have to earth it to the chassis, as this effectively is an isolated system. If I was to add a electrical hookup to the system and I was using those plug sockets I was going to install from a site electricity, I would need to have it ground to the chassis. Although those are just some of the laws which I find a bit confusing anyway in the UK. It might be different for different countries. So that's effectively how I'm going to be using the inverter. Stops me having to go under here every time I want to use it and plug something in. But we'll see those later on in the build. But I don't have to worry about any AC distribution boxes and anything like that. So I think I'm going to pretty much sum up this video. Bit of a short one. That's going to give me ample energy and power that I need for the van. So once again, thank you very much for joining me. Feel free to subscribe. Any messages, find my Instagram, message me there. And I'll see you next time. Cheers. Bye.